my buddy Ricky's today, and we actually just finished. I don't know if you see it in the background. Just finished with the Impala video over the Impala over there. He's got another vehicle here that I will be following following their build on, and it's a 1969 Nova funny car. And there it is. So tell us about it.
Well, this car was, Michael and I have been dreaming of a funny car for 20 plus years. Michael started driving a race car when he was 14 years old. And like all drag racers, this is one of those dreams you always dream. You know it's never going to happen, but you dream it anyway because you know it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? You can dream as big as you want.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have been running our gasser, our blown Angley. I think you've done a little bit on it in the past. And so there's a new series that started up about 5 or 6 years ago called Funny Car Chaos. And it's a grassroots funny car series. They run about 8 races a year in up through the Midwest United States, Texas, Oklahoma, that type thing. And so we started, our gasser group started running with the funny car group as the filler class. Well, we got to look at these funny cars and saying, you know what, man, that might possibly be attainable at one time in our life in the future, maybe, because they're alcohol funny cars. Some of them are full nitro cars. But to make a long story short, this car was running with the series. It was painted a different color. And the family that run this car decided to move up to step up to like a nitro car. So they sold this car. At the time, we couldn't do anything. But the guy that purchased this car a year later put it back up for sale. And at that point, Michael and I were both in a different financial position. We had somebody interested in our gasser. So we sold our 48 Anglia and made the deal. Michael talked to this guy. Michael got out of work one Friday and we left driving to Valupa, Iowa.
Wow.
10 and a half hours to pick up this funny car because we knew the car and it was already certified. And that was the main thing. We wanted a car that we knew was tested and proven that was safe. So we purchased this car, plus my son's high school car was a 1971 Nova that was painted red, white, and blue with Burning Love on the door. And so we're actually going to replicate that paint job and name. And this funny car is going to be painted to match the car he drove in high school. And we're going to run a 555 cubic inch rare Morrison big block Chevrolet with a Power Glide transmission. And the show we run with is a full it's 8th mile only. So hopefully we should be running in the 4 to 4.5 second range in the 8th mile when we get this puppy up and going. So,
nice.
So we're excited, man. It's just one of them dreams that you never think's going to come true. And for us, it's going to be tight financially. It's going to be on a tight budget. But we may do it 1 year and realize we can't afford to do this, but we're going to live the dream and say we got to do it at least for 1 year, put it that way.
Yeah.
So excited about what's going to happen. We're hoping to debut this car. We're waiting on our motor right now to be checked out. Hoping by maybe June to have this car ready to take to the track, get Michael licensed. And then there's a race in Joplin, Missouri at Mocan Drag Strip. We're hoping to debut the car there on Labor Day weekend with the Funny Car Chaos series and make our first race Labor Day weekend this year.
That'd be cool.
Yep.
Really cool. Can't wait to hear this thing fire up, really.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm getting nervous and itchy now. You know, you get to the point you're ready to make it happen, and it's a slow process because it's all about safety.
Yeah.
A lot of it right now in today's time, we're all dealing with it. It's about waiting on parts.
Yeah.
You know, they're not there. They're not readily available like they were 4 years ago. You can't just call and say, hey, I want this, and this, and it be here in 3 days. You know, a lot of times they say, look, we're waiting on these, we're out of stock. It's going to be maybe 3-4 months before we have it, or 6 weeks before we have it. So it has slowed this process down. Financially, we're good enough because we sold Dixie. We've got the money to put this car together and make it run. So that's what makes it frustrating. I got the money to buy the parts. I just can't get them as fast as I want them. And so anyway, Well, it is.
If anything, it's giving you a chance to really think about it.
Yeah,
and
it is.
to really plan it out, because with something like this, you really don't want to rush it.
No, the biggest thing right now I want to do is get the motor and transmission in the car so we can fit the body. In other words, we want to make sure all the clearances are right, that the hole's the right size. It don't need to be smaller or bigger, because I'm ready to paint this. Once we paint the body and get the motor fitted, everything else is bolt-on parts. There's a lot of them, but it's just, you know, you buy it, you bolt it on, you fit it. So once those two processes are done, then at that point, at whatever point all the parts get here and we get them bolted on, we're ready to fire this puppy up and go make smoke. But that's the big thing now, is just patience, just learning to wait.
I think you said with the motor setup, you're going in there, you're hoping to be able to drop this hump down a little bit, right?
Maybe a little bit. Now Michael has fitted in the car. Michael says he's got better vision out of this car as it is than he did out of our gasser. So Michael's not worried about lowering it, but if we can, the more vision, it's safety. If I can take a couple inches out of it, I'm going to. So we'll see. Just right, like I say, it needs a new windshield anyway. So that's the thing. We want to fit it, because if we're going to cut it up, I want to cut it up before I make a new windshield.
Yeah.
You know? So that kind of stuff. It's just time. But right now it's about patience. I mean, there's a few pieces of the puzzle that if they fall together, I'd have this baby in the paint booth next week.
That sounds good.
That's what I'm looking. I want to
Sounds
paint.
good.
I want to paint this thing, man. That's what I'm looking forward to, is painting it, because it's going to be. It's going to paint. We're going to paint it to match Michael's Nova, except everything will be in metal flake. It's going to be all metal flake, lots of gold leaf. So
there you go.
It's going to really. I think it's going to be a really eye catcher, especially under the lights. You know. So and that's my part that I like to do. If I'm going to paint it, I want it wild, man.
You're going all out with it.
I'm going all out, buddy. This will be my big finale as far as race car paint jobs. I'm excited about it, and you know, I'm excited to watch my son drive it. You know, I mean, he's lived this dream with me, and he kept saying, "Dad, you get your license too, and you need to drive it." But man, I think my reflexes are long gone for this driving ability right here. I'll be 60 here before too long, so I think not that I couldn't drive it, but I just think at some point you got to focus, and our focus has to be 100% on Michael being the driver, and me being the support crew, because we can't get hyped up on trying to get both of us driving the car right now, because it's going to take all we can do. You want to be successful and you want to be competitive, and man, at this level right here, dude, it's a whole new ball game.
And you want to have your best man on, the best man being the driver.
Yeah, because if I tear this race car up, we ain't racing for a while. And I just don't, I mean, you know, this is not a car you just jump in a couple of times and say, oh, I'm just going to drive it so I can say I drove it. It'll take us a couple of months of testing just to get Michael licensed. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because we're talking about running almost a second and a half to 2 seconds faster than we were in the gasser. So, I mean,
wow,
that's a lot. And so you got to really, it takes a lot of half tracks and, you know, stuff like that just to get used to the car and go through all those scenarios. You can't just go make 3 good runs and go, we got it, because it's going to shake the tires. And so you got to make enough passes that you get to experience all that. And one thing I'm proud of Michael is, my son said, he said, Dad, if we go to the track and I tear this race car up, it's going to kill me. But if I tear somebody else's race car up, I don't think I can live with that. So we want to make sure that we got it all down pat, and we got this car under control, and we know what we're doing.
Well, that's definitely cool. There it is. There's the video on their 1969 Nova funny car. Definitely will be following this. Sounds like within a couple months should be able to have an update video on it.
Yep.
Maybe even hearing it run. Not really counting on that, but we'll see how their progress is on that. But there it is. There's the video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.